Now let me talk about illness as deviance perspective as well as sick role. Before I get into the details, I'd like to go over definitions of three interconnected concepts. First is disease. So what is disease? Disease is this adverse physical state consisting of a physiological or sometimes biomedical dysfunction within an individual. And that dysfunction can be diagnosed, detected with modern medical devices, usually, and can be diagnosed definitively a lot of times. So what is illness? Illness is a subjective state. You'll see the highlighted words pertaining to individual's psychological awareness of having a disease and usually causing that person to modify his or her behavior. Well, as opposed to the first two descriptions and concepts about health conditions, sickness is a word. The sickness is a social state, okay? And that social state, a lot of times, is attained through negotiation with external entities. Sometimes could be a organization, sometimes could be people in power. And that social state signifying an impaired social role for those who are ill. So the main goal to negotiate into that status is to be exempt from certain social roles and responsibilities. Okay. And sociologists have typically viewed sickness as a form of deviant behavior. And before we go further, probably it's useful to understand what is deviant behavior and what is deviance. Well, deviance refers to any act or behavior that violates the social norms within a given social system. And being ill can disrupt normal social functioning and is generally viewed as undesirable by both individuals and society. Such a perspective goes beyond a purely biological definition of disease as an abnormality of the body. Okay, so being ill, being sick is not an individual matter because it disrupts normal social functioning that a lot of times associated with other social entities and functions that other people might treasure and pay attention to. So let me get into details about the functionalist approach to deviance. Well, the functionalist approach to deviance views society as a system of interrelated parts with an emphasis on the tendency of those parts to work together, to maintain order and equilibrium. Deviance represents behaviors which disrupt normal social functioning and are reduced and or controlled through the application of various sanctions. And sickness can be seen as deviance because it threatens the stability of social systems. The medical profession offsets the dysfunctional aspects of sickness by controlling or preventing disease, or to some extent, we can argue that sickness, such social dysfunction, is outsourced from normal work settings to a specific specialized institution here in medicine. Well, a natural follow-up question would be, then what is the difference between illness as deviance and other forms of deviance like criminal activities and mental illness? Well, there is major difference between illness and other forms of deviance. Criminals thought to are thought to violate social norms because he or she wants to. Whereas the sick person is considered deviant only because he or she can't help it. And society accounts for the distinction between deviant roles by punishing the criminal and providing therapeutic care for the sick. You see, the treatment, the approach towards these two different kinds of deviance are different, right? Are different because of different nature of these two types of deviance.